WZDX presents an extra look at the hottest action from the world of sports. This is WZDX Sports Extra with Mo Carter, Charity Chambers, and Kayla Carlisle.
Thanks for joining us once again for WZDX Sports Extra, as we like to call it, the X. I'm Charity Chambers, and this is Kayla Carlisle. Mo will be joining us in a few moments.
That's right. We're the only show in the area that dedicates 30 minutes just to sports. And Charity, I think we're the only sports show that has 2 female hosts this week. Is that right?
Girl power.
All right, but let's go ahead and show you what we have on tap this week. All the buzz was surrounding the SEC baseball tournament happening in Hoover. Alabama didn't make it in this year, but Auburn did, and we have those highlights, as well as how North Alabama natives Cody Greenhill and Tanner Burns performed on the big stage.
Also coming up, the women's softball team trying to hold it down for the Crimson Tide in the Super Regionals this week. Special guests from the Huntsville Rockets, and we're throwing in some Indy 500 action as well. But let's go ahead and kick it off with some baseball highlights, Kayla.
Yeah, Auburn's body of work during the 2018 regular season for baseball will be enough for the Tigers to earn a spot in the NCAA postseason, and a good run in their SEC tourney would definitely help their cause. Auburn started the tournament off with a matchup against Kentucky. We're going to get things started in the first, though. The second batter up for the Wildcats, Cole Cottom, hits it deep to left, and it's gone. A solo shot for Cottom, giving the Wildcats some early momentum, but the Auburn has an answer. Bottom of the first, the leadoff man for the Tigers, Will Holland, homers it over the left field wall, and a very pumped up Holland there. It's a tie ball game. To the 9th inning we go. Russellville native Cody Greenhill on the mound, now trying to close out the game. Auburn up 3-2, but a hit by Cottom would bring in Alex Rodriguez. And we're going to go into extra innings. And the bottom of the 11th, Auburn has runners on first and second, and Edouard Julian with the base hit to lift the Tigers to the 4-3 victory, giving North Alabama native Greenhill 4th win of the season.
All year, Cody Greenhill's been the man, and everybody on this team trusts Cody with everything we got. You know, he's the one we want finishing the ball game, and everybody knows it.
And the competition only grew stiffer as the Tigers took on 4th-ranked Ole Miss on day 2. This time, former Decatur standout Tanner Burns on the mound for the Tigers. And we're scoreless in the bottom of the 3rd. Ryan Olenek up to the plate, and he hits it to the shortstop. Should be an easy out at first, but no! The Tigers with a huge error. That's going to allow Jacob Adams and Chase Cockrell to score. Rebels go up 2-0. The Tigers struggled for most of the game to get some momentum going, but in the 7th, Connor Davis hits it very deep to right field. Doesn't get over the wall, but it's deep enough for Luke Jarvis and Jay Estes to bring it on in home, tying the game at 2. 9th inning, Tigers up 5-3. Edouard Julian at bat with the bases loaded. Remember, he hit the walk-off single in game 1. What is he going to do? It's going. That ball is gone. A grand slam for Julian to lift the Tigers to a 9-3 upset win. After the game, we caught up with Tanner Burns, who set a new career high mark for pitches with 105.
I feel like I had good fastball command. I mean, Coach Smith and Coach Thompson always preach on that. I mean, that's one thing you have to have. And I feel like I had good stuff.
I think Tanner's really exciting for me and Auburn fans, and to have somebody like Tanner Burns as a freshman. Tanner competes at a very high level.
Always good to see North Alabama natives showing out on the big stage. Well, with back-to-back wins, the Tigers moved on to face my alma mater, Texas A&M, in the 3rd round, and the Tigers are trying to go 3-0 in the SEC tournament for the first time, well, ever. Here's how it all played out. The projected #1 pick in the MLB draft, Casey Mize, set to square off against the Aggies. Bottom of the 3rd, Zach DeLoach hits one into shallow center field. George Yonka will score 1-0 A&M. On to the 7th now. Braden Shoemake has runners on the corners, and he blasts one down the first baseline. 2 runs will score, putting A&M up 3-0, and the Aggies would actually go on to win 4-2, and just not a great day at all for Mize.
They're doing the best they can, so it's not frustrating for me in that aspect. I have to be better and keep us in the game. You know, they're doing all they can. I understand that, and so I have to be better.
Since its double elimination, Auburn went on to play Ole Miss for a 2nd time. This time, losers pack up their bags and go home. Top of the 4th, no score yet until Thomas Dillard for Ole Miss gets a hold of one, and he hits it out of the park. That's good for a 2-run home run, bringing in Nick Forts. Rebels take a 2-0 lead. Move to the top of the 6th now. Runner on 2nd. Cole Zabowski, he's going to hit it right down the 3rd baseline, and it stays in. Look at Thomas Dillard now rounding 3rd. He makes it home. The Rebels just making it look too easy. Ole Miss would eliminate the Tigers with a 7-0 shutout victory.
You know, the goal is to continue on. We just didn't do enough today to get that opportunity, but you know, this is a special tournament outside of Omaha. There's nothing like it. Hoover's a goal, a destination, and something that our program will continue to build around and build up.
Now the Tiger season doesn't end in Hoover. They were hoping to get to host a regional, but they found out today that they actually will not be hosting one. So now they have to wait until tomorrow to see where their postseason will begin. But a good run for them in the SEC tournament.
Absolutely. And as far as the winner of the SEC tournament, Ole Miss took that honor this weekend as well.
Yeah, but the real storyline of the SEC tournament was LSU's pitcher Todd Peterson and their game against South Carolina. Let me set this up for you. After the Tigers took out their starting pitcher, Austin Bain, they put in Todd Peterson, but Bain went to the infield, meaning they had no DH. So Peterson had to play at the plate in the 12th inning for his first career at bat. And you won't believe this. His first time hitting is a double off the wall, bringing 2 runs in and securing the victory for the Tigers. That's good enough in itself, but it's what happened after the game between Peterson and head coach Paul Maneri that has everyone talking.
What did Paul Maneri tell you before you walked up there?
Well, I mean, at first, he said, you know, just go up there, don't swing the bat, don't do anything. And then it changed the pitch, and I was like, he's getting scared out there. He's like, yeah, did you ever hit in high school? I go, I hit bombs. He's like, all right.
And I told him, don't swing. Just go up there and stand there and don't get hurt. You're still in the game. And then when they changed the pitchers, I went up to him and I said, hey, did you hit in high school? And he looked at me and he says, Coach, I hit nukes in high school. And I said, well, you go ahead and swing there.
So I want to hear this. Todd, we got to hear from Dad, right?
Yeah.
Because Dad, is it true? Because was he that good of a hitter in high school?
He hit a few bombs.
Okay.
Coach, I'll be honest, I didn't hit in high school. My coach didn't let me. You know, I hit BP a couple times. You know, I did hit nukes, I'll tell you that. But yeah.
You didn't even hit in the games in high school?
No. He wouldn't let me. He didn't want me to get hurt, you know, but I guess it paid off. All the
So you lied to me?
Coach, I wanted to swing. I had to.
Thank you for lying to me, Todd.
You gotta love that. I love how his dad was even in on the joke. He's kind of lying to the coach too.
That's probably the best thing I've heard all week long.
Yes.
But we're going to go ahead and head over to the softball diamond now, where Alabama suffered a tough loss in Game 1 of its super regional matchup with Washington. The Crimson Tide blew a 2-run 7th inning lead and eventually fell 3-2 in 9 innings. The 12th-seeded Tide needed a win yesterday to extend their season and force a decisive Game 3, but it's not looking good for them as they're down 4-0 in the top of the 5th. Bases loaded now with 2 outs, and Kelly Burdick slaps it through the left side for a base hit, 1 run in, 5-zip. The very next batter, though, Taylor Van Zee with a 3-0 count, bases still loaded, of course, and just watch, it's going to be it's a pitch walk. How does that happen? Who does that? But the Huskies are going to go up 6-0, and that would actually end up being the final score, meaning the Crimson Tide season has officially come to an end, and the Huskies advance to the College World Series. And we still have a lot more left ahead coming up. We're going to show you how one local high school inspired us to get ready for the summer season. Stay with us. Welcome back. This week we had some high school football action, getting all of us here at WZDX anxious for the season to get started.
That's right. Mo Carter actually caught up with some of that action at Milton Frank Stadium. He joins us at the XO. Mo, what do we have to look forward to this year?
In 3 months, our sports coverage will expand with our 3rd season of First Down Friday night. We have multiple teams across the area playing for that ultimate goal of a state title. Now, a handful of those teams were in action recently with spring football games. We'll start off our action at Milton Frank Stadium with 2 teams that have a G in their name. We're going at it as Greenhill was playing host to Guntersville. Tigers wasted no time getting on the board. Mel Dantzler, a former MVP of the week, shows his speed and his power as he barrels over the defender at the goal line for his score. 7-0 Grissom on top as Coach Chip English looks on. Now Grissom with the ball again. Caleb Peak finds Cam Hunt streaking across the middle, but unfortunately he is stripped by Brandon Maples. The Wildcats pick it up and return it for a short gain. Not a good situation for Grissom, but it is A-okay because Guntersville could not do anything with the ball. So later, Grissom with the ball once again as you see the crowd trying to brave the rain at Milton Frank Stadium. Check this out. On the pass by Leak, Jordan Griffin of Guntersville comes up with the interception, which is good. But guess what? He intercepted it on the 1-yard line. So the Wildcats have 99 yards to go on their next drive. So Kyle Copalupo takes the handoff. Looks like he's tackled in the end zone for a safety, but they say he got to the 1-foot line but Grissom's defense holds and forces a punt. Grissom decides to go back to the running game. It's a pretty good idea. Mel Dancer takes the rock. Watch him show the jifty moves, breaks a couple of tackles, and he is gone for a touchdown of 30 yards, 14-0, Grissom on top. All right, under a minute to go. Tigers looking for that knockout blow. Pete will roll out, looking for another man as we see the cheerleaders right there. He looks for another man, finds Shadane Bowen in the flats, and watch him go, breaking a few tackles for a score. Grissom goes on to win this one by a final 28-0. Gunnersville will take on North Jackson in their preseason opener on August 24th. Grissom will open the season with Hazel Green on the road. Charity, I'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Bill. We're going to keep the football action going. Let's go ahead and head out to Earl Van Dyke Stadium, where Westminster is taking on St. John Paul. Opening drive, Wildcats quarterback Ian Theus throws it to Jackson Billings on a swing pass, and watch him do the rest. Breaking a few tackles, getting the ball into Falcons territory. The drive is capped off when Theus, who is a former MVP of the week for us, finds Brooks Reinhardt across the middle for the touchdown. Wildcats take an early lead, but yet they're not really keeping score in this one. Following a St. John Paul turnover, the Wildcats are at it again, this time with the rushing attack. Alex Stanley takes the handoff. He turns on the Jets, and he is gone. 40 yards for another Westminster score. Eagles finally catch flight after that. D. Sledge, he's going to throw the fade down the sidelines, and watch Jack Sauter comes up with a nice catch for a first down. A few plays later, the Falcons would score, but back comes Westminster. Theus fumbles the snap, but no worries. He finds Sam Shepard in the end zone for the easy score. The Wildcats open their season at DAR, while the Falcons kick things off with Locust Fork.
And switching it now to the NFL, some big announcements were made this week. Ruling on the national anthem and future Super Bowls in Arizona and New Orleans were discussed, but there was one big announcement that will affect our neighbors up in Nashville. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell announced that the 2019 NFL Draft will be held in none other than Nashville, Tennessee. We're going to go ahead and take it to a break now. We'll see you guys in a little bit.
And now back to the action on WZDX Sports Extra.
Welcome back to Sports Extra. It's now time for the Sunday sit down. And joining Charity and myself today are members from the Huntsville Rockets front office. We've got Virgil King, the owner of the football team, and Nicholas Benjamin, who is the offensive coordinator. Guys, welcome to Sports Extra. How's everything going today?
Everything's going great. Thanks for having us.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about people who have maybe even never heard of the Rockets. What can people expect when they come to one of your games?
They could expect to have some quality fun. We try and provide a family environment. You know, we do jump houses, moonwalks, you know, so the kids can definitely have fun. We do things throughout the game like potato sack races, dance contests, you know, just to kind of bring that consumer like excitement.
Now, one thing that's really good about the Huntsville Rockets football team is that a lot of the guys are from the local area, and also to piggyback off of that, the local guys along with the team are doing community efforts as well.
Well, yes, in the past we've done things where we've donated tons of school supplies to the Boys and Girls Clubs. We've worked over at the homeless shelter, just kind of giving back to the community.
Yeah, I mean, it's just more than football. That's what we want to show the community. That's what we want to show our guys, that football is only the starting point to what we want you to get based on, you know, community involvement, doing more and giving back to the community that you come from.
Yeah, Nick, a little birdie told me that you and Mo have known each other for quite some time. I hear there's a rumor that you guys have played football together in college. Is that true?
Yes, that is true. I met Mo at Southern University in Baton Rouge. I was a part of the receiving corps, which we call the Rack Boys, and he was a part of the defensive backs. And I mean, every practice was a battle. Rack Boys versus the Flatliners. That's what we consider. So, our friendship just grew, and you know, I've been in Huntsville for a while now. When he came, we just linked up again, and that old Southern spirit, it goes nowhere. So
who is the best out of you two? He whooped up on you, like tell me how I go.
But I mean, you know, every battle was great, and we wanted our practices to be way harder than our games, so that the games would be, you know, the cakewalk that we wanted it to be.
Now, another interesting thing, too, between the Rack Boys and the Flatliners was the rivalry between the coaches. Eric Dooley, the now head coach at Prairie View, was the wide receivers coach over Nick, while we had Jackie Mitchell, who was a former Southern football player, who's now doing some great things in Texas, along with Terrence Graves. They were with the DBs, so they were getting on us for trying to get on them, and it was just always fun. Sometimes we had to do push-ups for not getting the interception or let somebody score on us. I remember one time Nick was like, man, don't let me throw the Q-Dog symbol up, because if I do, you know, I done already done it. You know, Nick's part of Omega Sci-Fi, and oh man, if he did it, you know for sure something big was about to happen. Well, yeah, we had fun down there in Baton Rouge. All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Virgil King and Nicholas Benjamin, members of the Huntsville Rockets football team and front office organization. You can check out the Rockets on June the 2nd. They take on Georgia at Milton Frank Stadium. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. We've got more WZDX Sports Extra coming your way after the break.
Today, all eyes were on the Indy 500 as Danica Patrick took the track for the last race of her career, but unfortunately in the 68th lap, she loses control of her car and slams into the outside wall. She was okay, but her racing career comes to an abrupt end, not a way you want to go out. But after 200 laps, the winner of the 102nd Indianapolis 500 is Will Power. What a name. That's his 34th career IndyCar victory, but his first in the sport's biggest race. And also today, the Coca-Cola 600 took the track at Charlotte Motor Speedway, where Kyle Busch took home his 47th career win. And, well, Kayla, I think it's safe to say we've saved the best for last. You and I had some fun this week, all thanks to some kids at a high school in our area. What can you tell us about that?
Well, Charity, all I have to say is beach season is upon us, so naturally I had to look up ways to get my beach body ready for the season. And in my search, I came across something very interesting that took me right down the road to New Century Technology High School. For weeks now, I'd been searching and searching for the perfect workout. And then I came across this. It was then that I realized this could be it. But New Century Tech High is known for its academics, not their sports. But that's when Alexander Murcia explained that's because New Century Tech doesn't have sports teams. If a student wants to play a sport, they got to play for their quote-unquote home school.
So we have a real awkward, I guess, climate around game days when you'll have rival schools, you'll have members from the teams in the same class working together, good friends on the same projects.
Mr. Murcia is a teacher at New Century Tech, but he also plays in a band and is a father of 2 and does CrossFit. The list goes on and on. So when the principal asked him if he could start a CrossFit club, he agreed. But the club had to be called Functional Fitness.
Because CrossFit is a registered trademark. A friend of mine, Russell Berger, who works for CrossFit headquarters, told me that I could get the school to affiliate, and since it was a nonprofit organization, that they would waive the affiliation fee.
And that's when he found out that his club was the first and only high school CrossFit group in the state of Alabama.
I noticed with CrossFit, it's given the kids almost like a sense of community.
These kids have dedicated their mornings and afternoons to getting fit, on top of a demanding magnet school schedule.
For me, I think it's just about building habits. Like, try to be as much as a machine as possible. Like, at 6, you get up no matter what.
Like, prep myself, saying like, I know it's going to be a lot of work, but I just got to be prepared to do it.
And according to Murcia, it helps kids focus more during school.
Some of the kids that have been a little sleepy during the day, if they come in and they do some exercising in the morning before school, they're a lot more alert, and some of their grades have actually gone up.
And this team has competed in one competition already, and they plan to compete again this summer.
Yeah, it's the true challenge is each and every day having something different and be able to perform your best at, you know.
Such a great story, Kayla. With all that being said, I think it's time we let the people at home see how the New Century Tech kids inspired us to hit the WZDX gym.
Yeah, well, as you know, I took it upon myself to make sure the WZDX crew didn't miss out on the fun this holiday weekend, and, well, I'm just going to let the video speak for itself. Roll the clip. Just keep going without me, Charity. You got this. You got this. There you go. Yes, Mary. Push it. Push through the pain. really hope the folks at home aren't judging us based on our lifts.
Oh my goodness.
But
I mean, I think something that they don't, the tripods really are heavy. You know what I mean?
They are. I mean, like, people don't understand. That was an actual workout. I was out of breath.
Yeah, no, as I'm saying, yes.
Working on that.
Running around the newsroom, I was really out of breath. And I think it's safe to say that was really our best of the week, but let's see if we can top that. What do you have for us for our best of the
Well, I'm
week?
going to go ahead and kick it off by bringing it back to the Indy 500, where Zach Veach makes a quick pit stop, but his car catches fire, and we're not talking about a small flame. No, I'd say that's just about half his car. His pit crew tries to extinguish the fire, but before they do, he drives off, and I'm not sure if that's what they're told to do in those situations, but luckily for him, the fire extinguished itself down the track.
Oh my goodness, that is pretty crazy.
I don't know what you do, but drive off, I guess.
I guess that's what you do. Well, my best of the week happened at the BMW PGA Championship out in the UK. Thomas Peters didn't like his second shot at the par 5, and he snapped his golf club around his neck. Just really upset with that. I've never seen anyone do that.
Don't you have to be pretty strong
I was going to say, look at this.
Oh my god.
I mean, you and I, we went to Top Golf before, and those things they're pretty sturdy, you know?
Yeah, I mean, maybe our workouts from earlier will help us. Maybe that'll be the next week's show. We'll do that.
Maybe so.
We'll start bending golf clubs.
Maybe so.
Maybe.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on WZDX Sports Extra. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching WZDX Sports Extra. Furniture provided by Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries. Live life comfortably.